y'all. So we're going to do a tutorial on Cakesicles today, the molded kind. You can dip or you can mold your Cakesicles. I prefer to use the mold just because I think it gives a cleaner aesthetic, but dipping is totally fine too, and I still do that occasionally. So I am starting, I'm just doing 6 for this tutorial. You want your chocolate nice and melty, not too hot. I like these OXO cups, by the way, to melt my chocolate in. I can link those as well if you guys are interested. And I'll link the Cakesicle molds that I use as well, and the sticks. Sometimes they're unavailable on Amazon. The sticks are, but I will at least link the product for you guys. So just pour your chocolate in the mold like you're making any other molded treat. I fill it up and then just dump it out and scrape off the excess. Now the exterior, like outside of the mold, around where the cakesicle is going to be, it doesn't have to be perfect because that's not going to be part of your treat. So just scrape off as much excess as you can. And then you'll also see me, it's a little bit off camera, sorry about that guys, but you'll also see me tap it on the counter a few times once I get done filling and scraping. And then I insert my sticks. These are going to go in the freezer for about 3 or 4 minutes, really quick. When they come out, now we have to reinforce the edges. So same melted chocolate. I didn't even reheat it because I really like those cups. It stays pretty warm. Pay really good attention to the bottom where the stick is because that's often where a molded cakesicle will break. So you don't want to put too much, but make sure you put enough that hopefully it won't break. And when you remove it from the mold, which we'll do in just a little bit, it will stay in place. So just reinforce your edges really well. You can use a brush, a piping bag, a spoon. I really like these jar spatulas. They're good for mixing chocolate and also for these molds. So I can link those as well. They're also from Amazon. And I'm just kind of painting the chocolate all around the sides. You don't need to do the inside or the bottom because that already has plenty of chocolate in it. And they're going to go back in the freezer just for like 2 or 3 minutes this time, just to set that chocolate on the edges. Now we're going to put our dough in. This is a sugar cookie recipe, which I really love. My customers really love it too. I can't link it because it's one of Gina's, of course. So if you haven't checked out her recipes, be sure to check out her site. I can link her site though. So we're going to fill in all the empty space basically. Be very careful with the stick because it's frozen in place. These have not come to room temperature. They're just straight out of the freezer. So, and you want to make sure they don't sit out at room temperature while you're doing any of this process, except for at the very end. So just be very careful you want to try to fill in all the empty spaces. Like I said, get under the stick, on top of the stick, and just keep pressing evenly so that your dough is as flat as possible since that'll be the bottom of your cakesicle. I'm even putting a little bit more on top of this one because it just wasn't completely full for some reason. Now, I like to use a spoon to cover the tops. You can use a piping bag as well. I just don't like to get out a bunch of extra stuff if I don't have to. And I really like the way a spoon spreads the chocolate around nice and evenly. I feel like I have more control, but however you like to do it, just make sure your chocolate is nice and smooth and melty, not too hot, of course, and you don't want any lumps in it or anything. So nice, smooth, melted chocolate. And then after you fill in, make sure you get all your gaps and then tap it on the counter a few times. Back in the freezer for about 10 minutes to set this chocolate. And then as you can see, I am taking them out of the mold now, tapping a little bit of the excess off the edges, but we'll remove that in a minute. I like to let these sit out for 30 minutes after they are set to come back to room temperature as much as possible. And then this is my potato peeler trick. So whatever I couldn't tap off with my finger, I like to peel off with the potato peeler. I feel like it gives a really nice clean line. And then take your finger and the warmth of your finger will smooth the chocolate around nice and evenly, and it'll come out really nicely. Now, another trick, I learned this from Delight Lee actually a couple years ago. Get a paper towel and soak it in hot water, squeeze off the excess, and then run it around the edges of your cakesicle. It really polishes the chocolate really nicely. So there's the finished product, and here they are decorated. Thanks, y'all.